Jeffrey Epstein's peak net worth revealed. Hello, truth seekers. Picture a private island, a fleet of luxury jets, and a Rolodex overflowing with the names of A-listers, royalty, and world leaders. Now, imagine all these glorious trappings of success are merely an outward veneer, shrouding a tomb of dead men's bones, a colossal blackened web of scandal and boundless depravity. Evil so all-encompassing that hardcore psychopaths would blush. What you're imagining right now is the world of Jeffrey Epstein, a man whose wealth remains as enigmatic as his motives. Today, we attempt to crack the code on Epstein's fortune. Join us as we cleanse our minds of the primordial ooze and sordid filth he so unswervingly exemplified, just long enough to reveal the peak net worth of this exploitation-loving misanthropic billionaire. Get ready to uncover the untold story behind Jeffrey Epstein's gargantuan fortune. Now, when considering Jeffrey Epstein, it's almost impossible to do so without being reminded of the controversies surrounding his life. From high-profile connections to shocking criminal allegations, Epstein's life was a deeply emetic, faces-laden roller coaster from its very beginning. But today, we're focusing on a different aspect, his peak net worth. Strap in, because the numbers we are about to reveal will leave you astounded. Shockingly, as reported by Forbes, Fortune, and other leading publications, Epstein's peak net worth reached $570 to $580 million. He was by no means poor. But how was this fortune amassed? In order to understand Jeffrey Epstein's financial journey, we first need to rewind the clocks back to his early years. Born in Brooklyn in 1953, Epstein was from a working-class background and grew up outside of New York City. His keenness to break free from the confines of youthful privation propelled him towards success, coupled with a sharp mind and a natural aptitude for numbers. He entered the world of finance in time for the early 1980s takeover boom. Climbing the ranks quickly, he established himself as a rising star at Bear Stearns. Epstein's life was a symphony of contradictions. On the one hand, brilliant mind. On the other, a man who dropped out of college. On the one hand, a self-proclaimed billionaire who managed money for billionaires. On the other, a socialite whose inner circle reeked of depravity. These contradictions may never be reconciled. So, just how did this enigmatic character's peak net worth break down? What was it composed of? Official court documents revealed a net worth of $559 million in 2019. This was spread primarily across hedge funds, equities, and also included a smattering of real estate. As detailed earlier, Epstein worked at Bear Stearns. However, he later formed his own firm, which he decided to call Epstein Co. His financial prowess caught the attention of the elites, and this earned him clients whose deep pockets were outpaced only by their taste for discretion. Little did the world know the sordid story arc Epstein's life narrative was set to trace going forwards. And here is where we identify a key inflection point in his journey. Epstein's meteoric rise did not depend solely upon his financial acumen. It also was fueled by the connections he cultivated. From Wall Street stars to influential politicians, Epstein proved himself to be a shrewd and masterful networker. Seemingly with every handshake and perhaps in hindsight with every creepy smile, his net worth appeared to soar to new heights. These tactically forged relationships granted him access to exclusive investment opportunities as well as business ventures. The man knew not only how to play the game, but how to stay in the game for as long as possible. As we know, the game of that particular game was high-stakes finance, at least on the surface. But the mystery runs deep. Epstein's access to power and influence might already have consigned his more sinister crimes beyond the reach of justice on Earth and into the realm of speculation for all of eternity. His money, tainted by his alleged crimes, casts a long shadow over the lives that he damaged and is the subject of a litany of questions that still linger. But what of the mysterious investments that fueled Epstein's wealth? Real estate, private islands, luxury properties, and more. His portfolio was as enigmatic as the man himself. Rumor has it that Epstein's financial empire extended far beyond what the public eye could see. We are talking about multi-million-dollar mansions, a private island in the Caribbean, and even a ranch in New Mexico. But the real question is this: how did Epstein manage to accumulate such extravagant assets? Was it just savvy investing, or were there darker forces at play? For more about Epstein's criminal activities, relationship with Prince Andrew, childhood, and other subjects, be sure to check out our other videos, and most importantly of all, don't forget to subscribe to Jeffrey's Demons. Amid the discussions concerning Epstein's net worth, we cannot ignore the dark clouds that eventually cast their shadows over his possibly satanic financial empire. In 2019, Epstein was arrested on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. The scandal sent shockwaves throughout the world and culminated in his eventual imprisonment and mysterious death, just days before he could have compelled his wealthy associates to take the stand and testify, which would have been a historically epic global spectacle, rendering both the O.J. Simpson and Johnny Depp trials small fry by comparison. Nonetheless, the skeletons in Epstein's closet still became the stuff of tabloid fodder, and as the walls closed in, his financial empire began to crumble. The question remains, how much of his wealth was ill-gotten and what happened to it after his demise? Just keep in mind that Epstein's legacy is not just about mansions and jets only or net worth. Was he a frontman for a larger sex trafficking operation? Was he the fall guy to protect and obfuscate a bigger, more global scandal, rotten to its very core, exploiting and trafficking young, vulnerable children around the world? While we all know about the young women Epstein was accused of exploiting, the powerful figures implicated, and the web of secrecy that continues to shroud his life and death, we may never know the intricate financial picture which details precisely how his assets and resources were acquired, in the same way that you might, for instance, be able to read the balance sheet and income statements of a company. Epstein's wealth rather has become a symbol of the impunity some believe he bought, the veritable price tag that enabled a twisted empire built on manipulation and abuse to be sustained. Which is why we must address one crucial caveat, and that is this: exposing the extent of Epstein's wealth neither means that we are glorifying nor legitimizing it. It means that we are shining a light on the loopholes he exploited, loopholes that enabled his alleged crimes to go unchecked for so long, and loopholes in which we as a society either failed to notice when individuals wielding influence or resources were too close to key decision makers, or in which we abdicated our collective duty to hold those in power to account. Let this be a sobering reminder of the responsibility each of us has to ensure that such tales of evil can end differently, justly and righteously. Unscrupulous individuals should not be allowed to amass countless millions to the detriment of the many innocent people that they cross paths with. Let us ensure that sinister stories such as those linked to Epstein never repeat themselves. One important point many commentators make is that Epstein was not actually or technically a billionaire. Nonetheless, the truth is more nuanced. His opaque financial dealings make pinning down an exact net worth almost impossible. The opaqueness of his dealings can be contemplated in relation to several shocking revelations and reports by many of the media outlets who reported Epstein's deep ties with Leslie Wexner. For one, Leslie Wexner, the retail giant, was Epstein's closest confidant and, according to some reports, is creditable as being the source of his early fortune. But their financial ties remain veiled in secrecy, entangled with whispers of joint ventures and hidden assets, which blurred the lines between their respective net worths. The global footprint. Epstein owned luxurious properties across the globe, from his infamous New York townhouse to a private island in the Caribbean. Estimating their true value, given localized fluctuations in real estate markets depending on the geographical territory, proves challenging. When we also factor in hidden renovations, property upgrades, and interest accrued from various offshore accounts, so many moving parts emerge that we have an unsolvable puzzle: the artful dodger. Epstein was a master of financial fraud. He reportedly used shell companies, complex investment vehicles, and even cryptocurrency to manage his wealth and earnings. Chasing his true net worth is like being force-fed hallucinogens right before playing hide-and-seek against Harry Houdini. In order to obtain clarity concerning his peak net worth, famously, the USA Today reported that it seems the billionaire status may have come from a lawsuit filed by Epstein's alleged victims, who were suing him for the emotional pain he caused when they were teenage girls. This was according to a May 14, 2010 article in the Palm Beach Post. In response to the question, "How many figures are you worth?" Epstein apparently replied 9, not because he was worth over $1 billion, but because he misheard the question and thought he was being asked, "At what age is a child too old to go out on a date with you?" Joking aside, Epstein's lawyers might indeed have said that he was worth more than 9 figures, but it appears they never provided any financial documentation or tangible proof to back the assertion up. There seems to be no good reason to characterize Epstein as a billionaire, according to Forbes magazine report in 2010, especially in view of his conspicuous absence from its rankings of the world's richest individuals. The guy is not a billionaire. We repeat, not a billionaire, Forbes wrote then about its findings. More likely he is worth a fraction of that. Because of so much uncertainty around his numbers, he's never been included in the Forbes 400 list of the richest Americans. Anyhow, as it's just a report, therefore, no such conclusion can be drawn concerning the exact figure, although clearly we have some idea. Epstein's real worth will perhaps always be unknown because everything so far discussed remains an estimate, meaning that the true extent of Epstein's wealth is anyone's guess. How did he amass such wealth, and where did it all go? That's a question that continues to baffle investigators and conspiracy theorists alike. The answers may lie deep within the intricate web of financial transactions, offshore accounts, and hidden assets that defined Epstein's financial legacy. Let's wrap things up. Jeffrey Epstein's peak net worth may remain a mystery forever shrouded in the shadows that he created with his trademark eerie and meticulous devotion to discretion and deviousness. But the true cost of this plunder, and in particular the human cost, is all too clear. For what does it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? By dissecting the numbers and by questioning the sources, we take a vital step towards reckoning with his legacy, while demanding accountability for the wrongs that took place under the auspices of his opulent yet morally bankrupt empire. So, the next time you hear a whisper about Epstein's billions, pause and remember that true wealth is not measured in zeros, but in the impact a person leaves on the world, for good or for ill. And for Jeffrey Epstein, that impact was a stain on humanity, and a stark reminder that even the wealthiest among us can hide sinister and baleful secrets. So there we have it, the untold and shocking story of Jeffrey Epstein's peak net worth. From small beginnings to a sprawling and complex financial empire that reached unimaginable heights, even extending its tentacles around the commanding heights of government and entertainment, according to some reports. In fact, Epstein's life was replete with wealth, power, and scandal. With many questions remaining unanswered, what's your view? Do you believe that Epstein's true net worth will ever accurately be disclosed? What responsibilities as a society do we have to hold the powerful and wealthy citizens living amongst us accountable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, knowledge is power. By grappling with the complexities of Epstein's financial world, we can empower ourselves to rid the world of injustice and demand transparency from those in power. Before you go, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow truth seekers. Make sure to check out our other videos focusing on the enigmatic, vexing, and disturbing life of Jeffrey Epstein. Subscribe to our channel for a front row seat to the latest revelations. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep that torch of truth and justice burning brightly.